You're good.
You recording, Andy?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, the September 20th, 2020 Board of Trustees meeting is called to order at 7 p.m. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'm so moved to make that motion.
I'll second.
We
My
fight
first-
over seconds sometimes.
I get to do so.
Chaz wants to
Yeah.
second, so. Seconded by Chaz Cross. Motion carried. Oh, no, I directed discussion.
Oh, we got
Discussion? No discussion, all in favor of
Aye.
adopting the
Aye.
agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? Bingo, motion carried. Okay, President's report. Since this is my first board meeting, I want to thank Mary Beth Fisher, Annie Kerrigan, and Tim Weibel for 3 years of service on the prior board. And also welcome Dave Mockenstern, who is the new VP, Nancy McCoy, Secretary, and Steve Cundiff, all of whom were elected in August. We have had 80 new members so far this year, and we still have 3 months to go. So I wanted to make this president's report a little bit addressing new members, but it might be information that old members need to know as well. Historically, this Hideaway Hills started with 3 cabins, and anybody know the year? Aaron, 61. As of current, we are more than 700 homes and more than 1,200 members. So we have grown substantially. This year so far, we've had 76 building permits. Now, that's not just new builds. That's obviously for reconstruction, renovation, adding a garage, et cetera. But 76 building permits, which has kept the office and the Architectural Control Committee really busy. We have 31 miles of roads, which is a number I've heard before, and I think 31 is a lot. And I thought, compared to what? So I did a little research today. If you looked at just mileage, our roads are all, of course, twisted and curvy. If you just stretch them all out, we are 3 miles less in mileage than the distance from Hideaway Hills to Canal Winchester. We are 5 miles more than the distance between Hideaway Hills and Nelsonville. So in other words, we got a lot of roads that maintenance does a fantastic job of taking care of. For new members and old as well, about 1.5 years ago, we did some videos spearheaded by Linda Lonsinger that are still sitting out on the club YouTube channel, having to do with history, governance, new members, and committees. So they're all 10, 15 minutes. That might be worth your time to take a look at those if you haven't. And 60% of our members currently are full-time. So we have come a long way from the weekend retreat. We're actually not a weekend retreat anymore. We are a village. In fact, we are a small town with more amenities than most small towns. And what makes us unique is we are run essentially by volunteers and a very small staff of paid employees. So volunteerism really runs this community. Without it, the train stops. So I would encourage anybody new and old, if you haven't done so, get involved in the committees. You do not have to be a committee member to participate. Most committees are looking for extra hands for events. A good way to get involved and get to know people and contribute back to the community. And I want to personally thank our very small staff of employees in the office, maintenance, security, lodge, and clubhouse for all that they do for us. And I would encourage members to do the same when you see them. I spent a lot of time over the last year as secretary in the office, and I can tell you there is not a moment in which that office is idle. Zero. You know, it's emails and phones ringing, and I think that's true for the other employees as well.
most of which could be inserted on the website.
Much of
Most
which
of the
can be could be answered on the website. And once we get the new technology up and running, a lot of that you'll be able just to go out there and find answers to many of those questions. Good point, Chaz. So that is my president's report. So let's go to review of August minutes. Nancy?
I have the you. If anyone has any questions, if not, I'd like to make a motion to approve the August 16th, 2022.
I'll second.
So moved by Doug Parker, seconded by Cabot Ray. And Cabot, treasurer's report.
Yes, we began.
Oh, we have to vote on that?
Yeah, we have to get voting.
You'll get
Okay,
used to it.
any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Right.
Opposed? I even wrote that down for myself at the top up here. Motion second, discuss vote, says it right there.
Oh, I didn't have any correspondence.
Okay, no correspondence. Management Committee and GM report. Marty.
You want me to do treasure?
Treasurer's report.
Yeah. Well, we began the month at 156,354.57. We finished the month of August at 157,876. There was a lot of movement back and forth. One thing that we I just did want to mention one thing, the basketball court. We got an amazing donation. Chaz, you want to again tell us, gentlemen?
Yeah, I think he preferred to.
Keep it anonymous.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
fine. We got a wonderful donation, though, that's going to help us and get it done and finished. And so it's people like that stepping up and doing that really make a difference here. That particular donation was not recorded in this month's finance or August's finances. It will be in September. But again, we finished with 157,876.90. And with that, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this treasurer's report.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report. Is there a second? Linda Lonsecker, second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now it's time for the Management Committee and GM report. They're going to do a combined report
Yep,
this
thanks.
time.
Yep, thanks, Linda. So we'll start off with the financials on the balance for the capital fund right now is $496,106. The depreciation balance is $436,596 on there. When we get into the operating budget, because of the increase in costs on things with inflation running, pretty high right now. So we are taking a look at, some items as far as like fuel and our food and beverage expenses, repairs and things like that, to kind of make sure that we stay within our budget to do that. So we're keeping a look at that. We are also beginning to start the planning for the budget process for 2023 now. We're trying to get a jump on that. We'll move over into some project updates. At the last meeting, we had a presentation in there by Pyle and Dwayne Williams on there about silt traps and dredging on the lakes. And we're still looking into that. That's a big topic to kind of get looking at. So we're still working along those. The RFID project.
Yeah, so we went live on the,
There you go. Yeah, right in there, right in
there
there.
you go. So we went live on the 13th of September. Few glitches and the contractors are still working out some bugs with the details, but everything seems to be working okay. We've issued decals to our first responders as well. There is a what's called an SOS intercom system, and it's activated by their sirens, but that was easily adjusted by the contractor. But so we went a second step by issuing the decals. So there's a few bugs that we're still working out. Patience is needed, but if you don't have your decals, they should be down at security now. And then the off-road or outside the vehicle decals, we have 75 of them. And that's all we have. So it's a first come, first served basis. There are no more decals in the United States. So we're the last to get the remaining decals for that.
Didn't you say, Andy, at the management meeting that anything with a windshield doesn't have to have one of those outdoor decals. They could use the inside.
Yeah, they're mainly for motorcycles.
Yeah.
That don't have windshield.
So if there's a side by side that has a windshield, they could use one.
They could use one of the ones like, just like a car. Yeah.
And then also, we just got issued SCP as a vehicles for electric. They've got 150 decals that they're paying for. So we just got those in the office a day ago. We'll be issuing them and activating. So we're making good headway, but there are still some kinks to work out and so forth with contractors and so forth. So your patience is working. Yeah. So we've got the management software. We're in the beginning stages still of the management software, the conduct control. We've migrated over for a website, several other things in the process right now. And so again, patience it's slow as a turtle right now, but we are getting things migrated, having some training with our staff next week. Our first training on onboarding with our staff, especially office staff and so forth. You want to talk about Lodge Electrical?
Yeah, so I think everybody's aware that, we've been looking into updating the electrical service into the lodge and also the pool. And then part of that too is a trash compacting area up there. So up in this area, we continue down that. We developed the budget right now for it. And right now, we move forward and we will be putting together a final presentation for the board to show all the details on it. But we're looking at spending probably about 100,000 this year and then about another 200,000 in 2023 on there. So it is pretty significant. We wanted to just let you know where things were shaking out to this point. Excuse me. One of the, yeah, so we'll kind of move on to, so the lodge roof is also in need of repair on that. And we're in the process of developing the project scope and budget for that. We will be having some meetings to start assessing the actual condition of it at the end of this week. And you want to go over that?
Yeah, I'm going to update you guys on the asphalt overlay. The Key Paving finished their work about 2 weeks ago. We did 1,000 tons of overlay, so on the northwest side as well as actually the north side, I should say, and then kind of the southeastern side, the property, and it went pretty far. I hats off to our maintenance team and Key Paving; they did a marvelous job.
Yeah, they did.
And now we're in the stages of looking at how we're going to protect this investment, how we're going to as far as chip and seal and so forth, maintaining this. This is the first time we've done an overlay. We've done chip and seal in the past, so it was a good project. And again, my hats off to our maintenance team and Key Paving for the great job they did with the traffic.
That section of road in the history of Hideaway Hills has never looked that good, ever. It never has.
Also want to give you a Spectrum Enterprise update. As many of you know, we've been, obviously Spectrum is our internet service, and we've had some connectivity problems and so forth in the past. And we just had a really good meeting with them yesterday. Account representative and his manager came down here and spent about half a day with us going over the issues that we have. They've already followed up with me on an email, which I was surprised about, but they followed up and said, we're taking care of the engineering things that you're talking about and following up with construction in front of the lodge and so forth. So I'm very pleased with the progress and kind of put that pressure on. And then lastly, the number of, I put on our agenda here, our report about open positions here, our staffing positions. As you can see, there's quite a number of positions that are open for full-time and part-time basis. So if you know of anybody looking for a job, I would love to talk with them. whether it's security or maintenance or our lodge, staff members. This is really, really important. And we're putting together job descriptions for our full-time employees. Hoping to have this done by the end of September. But I think that as we move forward, our employees, we're down a janitor, and they have deep cleaned the lodge this past week. They did a marvelous job. So we didn't know if the men's room was going to be available over today because we had some problems with it, but they took care of it this morning. And it's better. So really, I'm just proud of our maintenance team, our security team for just stepping up. So I appreciate that.
If we could maybe even get members to, and employees to talk to people they know about, it's got to be a pretty good place to work. I mean, how long has Rick been here?
39 years.
39 years. Penny's been here 9 years. So
Randall's been here 29.
29 Randall. So, I mean, people stay. So if you get
Well,
the word
I
out.
think it's necessary to figure out why we're losing people so that once we get them, we don't lose them. I mean, the food and beverage supervisor is just a revolving door. And we need to really dig in deep and try to figure out why I mean, it's every year now. If it lasts that long, I don't even think the two combined lasted a year.
And the nice thing is, I did meet with JJ today, and we're talking this Thursday as a general manager, kind of go over what's working, what's not working, especially when it comes to the lodge. And we're just going to put everything on the table. And no idea is a bad idea. And let's let it out from there. But we're taking those steps. We find it very, very important, obviously. And this last week, we were closed for deep cleaning. Aaron did a lot of kitchen cleaning, and our maintenance team did deep cleaning in the bar and the rest of the front of the house. But then we had this week, we're just doing, Aaron's on vacation. So we're just doing pizzas only. But it's slowly, we're getting there. So your support is.
There are two pretty significant new sources. As a matter of fact, one larger, much larger than the other, that are opening up that affect our food service, not just us, others, because I've talked to a couple other businesses, and people that I know in the Hocking Hills. The dining lodge, the new dining lodge in Hocking Hills State Park is actively hiring a lot of people, and they're at their hooks out. They got a lot of jobs to fill, especially in the food and beverage department. So that's one. The other one is downtown. Hocking Hills Winery is starting a restaurant down there in the old building in downtown Logan. I don't know how many people they're going to hire, but I've talked to a couple of people, and there's another new restaurant that's already expanding. They opened a new, I think it's called The Feed. It's getting a lot of attention, so they're doing some things too. So there's a lot of pressure, not to mention what you're going to see, or what I've seen in Lancaster as well. So it's just the reality, and everybody's competing for a lot of the same people. It's not to be flippant about it; it's just the way it is.
So your encouragement as a board and management committee and members, just to employees that have a longevity, and that it is a great place to work. It's absolutely a great place to work. We're working out the kinks. Absolutely. So, that said,
And one thing that I know that we used to do that I don't know that we currently do is we quit having appreciation dinners and luncheons for them. And I think that's pretty good bang for our buck. So I think we need to maybe even consider, I mean, they like hearing from us in the board meetings what a great job they're doing. But I think some of those other things, I mean, it doesn't take much effort to do that. We may consider, opening that back up.
and I'm glad you mentioned that, Chas, because we did have a discussion. I've had discussions with supervisors and stuff too about having a field day, and an appreciation day, just so they can get to know. Like, there's people in maintenance that don't know people in the lodge, and there's a lot of people that don't know maintenance, and they've never made that connection. So actually having that, where they can meet with each other and work with each other, the ladies in the office are in the office. They don't see the other things going around. They hear the complaints, but they don't hear it. So it's one of those things where we're trying to rally our employees together. Support of the board and support of the management, and support of our members, is vital to their.
What if we, I'm just throwing this out there. What if we had them and their families in for the weekend and gave them access to our men? And we as members could meet and greet them and meet their families, or, and I don't care if it's from coming to the lodge to maybe playing around a golf or going up to the pool or whatever. It's not something that we have to do every weekend, obviously, but just take just a 2-day period and say, bring your families in here. Let them see where you guys are working at every day. Let them see what you do for us. I think that would go a long way, and it would cost us very little to have that happen. I don't think it costs us anything, but just a suggestion.
Have the Hills ever opened up the amenities to employees? They might like to come and fish or do a play around.
Yeah,
with golf
only
or go to
certain
the range.
ones, I mean, that being past general managers and things like that. But never to the actual employees that maintain the roads and do all the work.
Well, I'm just wondering, they're the ones that help make and keep things as
Yeah.
nice as they do, and yet they're the only ones that don't ever get to.
Bring your kids in and we'll take them fishing. We all got boats. We'll take them out. I'll probably have to drink some beer, but we'll take them out.
Whatever it takes.
What a giver.
Yeah.
He's such a giver.
Do we have any relationships with like Hocking Tech College or the OU satellite campuses where they have some career pathways for hospitality that we could meet with them or invite them here, bring their group in, and again, host people that are looking at that as a career and say there's different opportunities here.
Kind of like a recruiting.
Yeah, recruiting or an internship type of program to let them see what it's like for a few weeks.
Yeah, we've talked about that. And I think Andy, you've got
Yeah,
a
I've got-
relationship with Hocking County or Hocking College.
Yeah, I've got some relationships with OU as well, so that is definitely an opportunity. And there's other places like in Columbus too. I think, hey, I'd like to work down there rather than hustle and bustle around Columbus. So
And, we're getting together, as Andy said, Thursday. So the intent is just to brainstorm that, right? To look at everything and figure out, what we can do, how to get creative about solving this problem. Whether it's new idea, old idea, whatever, but we do need to figure it out.
So you guys on the management committee are going to kind of look into some sort of appreciation. I mean, you got to make sure that it's a good thing for people, not something they feel like they have to go to, that was for business. We've all had to go to things like,
Yeah,
thank you for
we have-
thanking me, but I'd rather not be there.
Yeah.
We
Um,
we have, we have certain issues that we need to solve, right? One, we have to staff. On there that we're down with people. And we need to look at why we're losing. Is it a high turnover job? Or, are we doing something that's driving people out or outside pressure? We need to answer those questions first. And then
Have we done an exit survey? I know big corporations or bigger employers do exit surveys. I don't know that we want to, do we?
yeah, we did. We did. Lunch with them. Food, beverage manager. They did, I added it. I did an exit.
Good.
And then that's kind of what sparked all this. Because it's okay, here's where we need help in training of our employees, making sure they understand the job description.
Also, I think with the food and restaurant industry, there's a high turnover in it regardless, but I like the fact that there is a lot of longevity here with Rick and Randall and some of the guys at security. I wonder if we could get like some positive thoughts from them and say, this is why people stay here, and get some ideas. Why has Rick stayed here 39 years and everyone else has stayed here a long time? Why do you like it so much? And kind of get their ideas. And then, you gotta bring them in and they go, oh gosh, they've been here 39 years and 37 years. That's good. That's good tenure. So,
Good, so you guys will kind of give us some
Yeah.
feedback after, okay,
Cool.
great, great. Have more there?
The last thing is the board trustees easement waivers. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. We've got I'm looking to Linda to do a motion for easement waiver for lot 1762 and 17. Sticker residents. They've met all their requirements as far as SEP and they joined lots. We're ready to go on that.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the waiver of club's easement rights for lots 1762 and 1763.
For a second,
I'll second.
discussion? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
The second one I had was an easement waiver for lot 706 Hitler residents, and I know Chris is over there too. I think that we had those discussions. I looked at their files. They just needed a board easement waiver. They do have a permit that's already been issued. So it must be. I just had 706. Right. So I think it's 705 and 706. That's the residents, all requirements for SCP. But permits already been issued.
Sure.
Motion for that.
So we have all the information. I'd like to make a motion then to accept the waiver of the easement for the club in between 705 and 706.
Second,
Second.
second by Dave Marcus. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're late. Motion carried.
The last one is not really an easement waiver at this point in time. I've spoken with John Freeland. He's here tonight, just about the progress they're making. It's kind of a unique situation to Hideaway Hills, I guess you could say. And John, do you want to just speak on where we are in the process? You can speak in that microphone.
Hey, everybody. John Freeland. We own lots 535, 536, and 578. And those are basically at the 5th tee of the golf course. And there's a existing power line that runs between our first and second lot. And we have spoken to all three utilities, South Central, Frontier, and Spectrum, and gotten everyone to agree to move those. But we're kind of breaking new ground with Hideaway Hills on this, but I think we're all in agreement and have got all the T's crossed and I's dotted to the point that we can start the trench and move the lines. And once all the lines are moved, then all three utilities will relinquish their claim to the current easement. So that's where we stand. Andy had come out recently with Rick and marked what trees that need to be removed for the trenching. We've got conduit on the way, so the trenching can begin at any time as soon as have all our materials on site. So
you're gonna bury those lines.
we're burying everything. We're burying the power and the phone and the cable. So that's out of our pocket, not South Central's, but you know, it's better in the long run, less chance of a tree coming down on it. So, and then our lots are all tied together. So we really hope to break ground and start building in the spring. And does anyone have any questions on that?
John, what about the driveway and the cart path?
Okay.
Where does the cart path come in?
Okay, we intend to use the golf course maintenance road as our driveway. At the end of that road, the existing maintenance road is where our property more or less begins. There's a short bit between our property line and the 5th tee that's actually on our property, but I've spoken to the golf course chair, and it's not a problem for us. It doesn't seem to be a problem for him, you know. We don't have any problem with golf carts using that short amount of roadway on our property. It's not really going to affect us at all. So, and while we have the trench open, the trench will cross that golf cart path, but it's only going to be open long enough to get conduits in, and then that will be closed back up. So, I mean, probably a day, 2 days at tops for the golf carts to be inconvenienced. And that's only for the long tees on 5, I think.
So there'll be no change, I mean, other than 2 days while it's open. There'll be no change to how everybody accesses that hole.
Right. I
as
think
far as
right
going
now,
down that road
yeah,
and using it.
from what I understand, I believe most of the time they just use the golf course anyway. It's only in bad weather that they come off and around, but
I didn't even realize you could go around the back of the tee. I'm always four-wheeling it down across
Yeah,
the.
slide into the weeds.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm just watching.
I guess I learned
Now,
so.
I know Jim McNabb put a lot of work in building that road back there. So that the cars could come back through and get that done. So that was my concern, is that we don't stop that or put any impedance on anybody from using that whole way. Use it.
I guess I have a question, because I kind of live in that area. And where exactly are you varying from point A to where's point?
okay. Point A would be at the north end, which is on that maintenance road. There's an existing power pole. We're right, basically where that golf cart path is that we're just talking about.
Excuse me.
Northwest corner of our property, the 578.
It's like 8 feet from the tee box, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the one we're talking about?
No,
Yeah,
no.
no, there's one further up
Excuse
towards
me.
west, Towards Chad's house, right?
Yes,
Excuse me.
That's the one that's being buried, not the one by the tee box.
correct. It's coming off of that.
Excuse me.
Well, that pole will remain, but it'll no longer go down the existing easement.
Okay, so just on the west end of your property.
The west end of our property, and it will trench south down to Navajo Lane.
Okay.
And then it'll go back up a pole and jump across the road to an existing pole.
Oh,
It goes straight south.
Yes.
Okay, and then is it the intent to pull the line out that goes down the hill?
The old, yes.
So I guess my.
he's pulling it fast.
Is that, within the deed restrictions, right, all the power company easements are open
Mike
for
at?
hiking, horseback riding, not that I have a horse, but
Where on
Um,
the computer?
I do utilize that right to go do that a lot. Like,
Is there any way I can talk to anybody?
So, I mean, if that goes away,
Well, that should
They're
go,
gonna take
it
some
would
away.
just move, wouldn't it? I mean, because we'll have an easement on the west side of the property instead of,
so you're still gonna have a power, there's still gonna be like a 20-foot easement.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, they've driven a stake next to the pole where they want the conduit riser. And then they've driven a pole. It's actually 10 feet east of our property line at the Navajo Lane at the bottom side of the property. So there will still be an easement. It just will be in a different place.
okay. And then, have you spoken with the other landowners up there? Because that's not a maintained Hideaway Hills Road. That is just a private thing, and it crosses 3 other properties to get to you. Have you talked to everybody about that?
No.
Okay. Because everybody has a Navajo address on that, right? And so that access road there, I think the Hideaway Hills stops maintaining it at the maintenance building for the golf course.
How is it maintained? In an ongoing way, how is it maintained on past the maintenance building? Because I've walked the road recently. Actually, I wanted to see, how you were gonna do things. But it looks like it's a well-used road because other homes are using it.
Right, there's 3 other homes, I think, up there.
Right, and I think that
Just-
those, and I believe that those homeowners maintain that road themselves. You'd have to check with them, but that's my understanding.
So snow removal, so
know, we have to, add the gravel, so on and so forth. I believe there's nothing.
So it's treated as a common drive with the folks back there then.
And that actually goes across your property? Okay, so.
Didn't know that.
But every time we waive an easement for the club, there is still the hiking horseback, ride, all of them. I mean,
But I was just curious about that, right? Because it's gonna be a big change, so.
We waive our right to enforce the easement. We can't waive the easement.
we can't waive
We can't.
the members'
Legally.
rights, but we waive
Correct.
our club's rights
Right.
to enforce that easement.
Well, we waive the right, as Rick Levinsky used to say, we waive the right to enforce it, not to waive it in and of itself. So it's still there, as far as I know. Yeah. It should still be there.
Any other questions for John?
But if he came to the club and said, you got to stop those people from walking down my easement, the bottom right, the club has already waived their right to force that easement.
Are you talking about the new proposed new easement or the old easement? Because
The re-easement that's always been there.
God willing, our
Yeah.
house will sit across that easement.
Pardon?
Our house should sit across that old easement. That's what we're trying to do.
Then they might have to walk around. I don't know, but the easement doesn't go away to the best of my knowledge, I don't think.
If there's a new easement.
Yeah.
If there's a new one, if you create a new one,
Plan.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say, Chris. But go ahead.
In the rules, Linda, correct me, it's not a regulation, it's a rule.
Chris,
no,
you
it's a
might want to grab that
regulation.
mic.
What is it? It's not in the architectural control committee building code stuff. It's what the membership votes on,
Yeah, it's in the code of regulations.
regulations. And in that, by membership vote, once, and I don't have the wording with me, but I do have it on my laptop if you want me to look it up. When the board waives Hideaway Hills' right to enforce an easement, they're also waiving the members' right to use it for hiking.
Okay. I haven't read it recently, it was many years ago that I'll.
But this comes up all the time when we're talking about waiving easements. When easements are waived, it's because a member is building a structure on the easement. That's one of the requirements. So for most of these, there's a home or a garage sitting on the easement. And just like the Bitler one you did tonight, the garage was built maybe 3 or 4 years ago. They wanted to add a deck, and we realized that the easement had not been waived, but their garage is already just sitting in the middle of the easement. So it's a little difficult to walk an easement if there's a garage or a home sitting on it. But the membership through vote, I don't know when, but in the past, voted to approve the language that's in the regulations.
Yeah, it's Roman numeral E from.
Yes, we're in that period, yeah. When the right to waive the easement was voted on. But you're exactly right with the date. You want to read it, Linda? Do you have it?
Do we need to get into all that now?
No,
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe we need to all take. a
They
look at
shouldn't be
that.
walking to your house.
Yeah.
I'm trying to leave the door unlocked.
Yeah, you can leave the door open, front and back. In you go.
How's what stuff you have here?
Anything else we need to do right now with John Eastman? I mean, we're not ready to.
Well, we pursuant to our code, we can't officially approve it, but we can say contingent upon South Central Powers waiving, then we would follow our code and give you the same consideration as what you just heard.
But again, the road itself is a private road that travels over other members' property. So I think in order to use it, you probably have to join up with whoever, however it's currently used or maintained or whatever, so. Right,
and grant us the ability to take a little bit of that drive for the cart path, right?
I think you said you can, right?
Yes.
I think that's not a problem.
Well, not now, but later downstream, should he build this house that isn't even built yet and then sell it?
And sell it.
We might need to, I might
Might
need to
need
get
to
something
get a-
written up on
yeah.
that, that you would grant in perpetuity the ability to use that,
So do we need Bangor to put
probably.
us together something?
Yeah.
Our first action.
Second, I have
Second.
employee appreciation.
Oh, yeah.
But I just turned that to Marty.
So we need to vote on this still? Or did we already? vote on
I think this was just discussion.
Yeah.
it?
You're gonna have a lovely home up there. It's a great site.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I
I
appreciate
would-
you keeping us informed.
Hey, I'm
Thanks,
glad,
John.
appreciate all of you for considering this.
And I will talk to the attorney and get something written up and share with you about that.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Thank
A
you.
little halfway house there, since that's halfway through the floor.
Yeah.
We get these bars.
Porta potty.
Absolutely.
Hey, Marty, real quick before we finish here, what's the status on the the mower for the golf course that's been in limbo? Are we progressing?
That was all resolved.
Yeah, so I've got that one. All right, not here.
I know. Is there anything new on that?
Bigger equipment. I don't know, 2 hours away. Still has it there, like tomorrow. We have been in touch with all this. They have elevated it, Bond elevated it. We're up with them probably on the phone at least twice a week. And where's our mower? Where's our mower? It's been like a month and a half now. So they're still saying there's a delay over there at Baker. We said, we'll just pick it up. Well, that's illegal. We can do that. So we're still in the process. I know that we need a mower more than anything. We just had another mower breakdown just recently. Around the greens and stuff too. So
Why is it illegal for us to pick it up?
because of our agreement with them, because they're still saying that we would owe $7,000 in freight where it came from. Well, we haven't purchased it yet. We just put the order in. We haven't actually done the purchase. So. Where we are.
Okay, do we need to make a motion to approve the management report? Do we usually do that? I didn't think so.
Well, I've got a question about one other thing, and I made issue of this, I think in my last meeting as president. I'm still concerned about the support for the Access database that we're going to continue to use in the office. And we're living on borrowed time here if we don't have somebody that we know that is a reputable individual to support that. Where are we on that?
Right. So, if Andy got- oh,
Yeah, if you could hold that, we're gonna do the technology thing here
Okay.
in a little bit. Maybe we can talk about that.
Okay,
Give you
cool.
some more updates.
I didn't realize that's part of the new, because I thought we were going to continue to operate the Access database off to the side and not incorporate that into the new software.
Only for a limited time.
Okay.
Right.
It's gonna go away.
Okay. Committee and business funds request. One thing to mention first, now that they've already spoken, we have new board reps and committee chairs. You're going to see in the next echo, the hopefully final list of all of the committees, contact information and board reps. And Marty Bendokas is now chair of the management committee. He's like, what, me?
Congrats.
Julie Evans is vice chair, and new members of the committee are John Cook and Bob Sorrell, and JJ Jeffers remains chief cook and bottle washer on the committee. So we've got a new man, and for those who don't know, the management committee is integral to the moving the trains in this organization, because they take care of every day-to-day thing in conjunction with the office and maintenance and security. So welcome, new officers and management committee members. And we'll go around the way Chaz used to do it, which made sense, is for committee funds requests, we'll just kind of go around the room. So Monsignor, you're on.
Nothing.
Chad?
I have nothing either.
Nothing.
Do you know which
Oh,
committees you
my
have?
Way at the
No, not
bottom.
you, him.
Way at the bottom. Technology, special things.
Okay, I've got one for communications, just real quick. I've had a conversation with Ginger. Two things. We talked about this before, but we never really got it actively going. But we're gonna have a section in the Echo for called committee news. We used to talk about a lot of that in here, what was happening. But we're gonna put that in a section. So tell your people, your committees that you have, if to please get that, anything they want to be published in there to Ginger by the third Thursday of the month. So we always meet on Tuesday, get it in there by Thursday, but we'll have a special section so people can really go to one source to see what's happening. The other thing we're thinking about adding is a section, my play on words, the word know-how, know-how. So we're gonna highlight certain things in the Echo that people may not be aware of, recognizing that reading the building code is not everybody's idea of enjoyable reading. So things that we know are causing issues or people are confused about, we're just gonna put a section in there and highlight every month, 1, 2, 3, 4 things that members might want to be aware of. So we'll hopefully get that going this next edition. In terms of the range, which is one of my committees, the Veterans Day Shoot and Open House is the weekend of November 12th and 13th. And you put in for an e-vote on that, didn't for the dates?
I thought we did. That's what I asked you. With the change in the guards, I believe we did put an e-vote in, brought sent it to Dave asked for.
Our e-vote person is going to tell us in 1 second.
But he also had 20 of them in his first
Hour.
hour of being the vice president. so-
Welcome,
Yes,
Dave.
it was approved on August 24th. Yeah. Great room, yes. Older Veterans Day, the 12th and 13th. That was approved with the use of the great room for the range committee on October 8th as well. Those were early ones.
Well, the October 8th probably gonna get those,
Yeah.
the other two.
Okay, good.
Yes, it's approved.
Okay, and I have one from the chapel committee. They would like to purchase sound equipment, much needed new sound equipment, from Sweetwater Music Instruments and Pro Audio. They're requesting up to $5,300 from the chapel committee fund before they place the order. And question.
First make a motion.
Make a motion
You
to
can
accept
make
that.
the motion.
Make a motion to accept that
No.
we approve.
I'll second.
Okay,
Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
all right. Thank you. That's all I have.
And I've got plenty of nothing. Nothing's plenty for me. Nothing out of social. And we're going to talk, because I know I noticed you and we brought up that point about, that's the only committee I have at this point. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, but I'm willing to take one from someone else if they need that to happen. I'm still.
I
doing my-
wouldn't throw that out just for anybody.
Well, no, actually, I meant Eric, because I noticed Eric has four
Yeah. he does.
that he's responsible for. And if you want me to take one of those, let me know.
Want to pick one? How do I choose?
I don't care.
Like, who's your favorite child?
That's true. So if I choose, it's gonna, I don't care, honestly. It doesn't. Not make any-
So, you know, it's just, I've been working with long range, with airport and Barnes might do one, so I can stay with them if you want to take over Barn.
I can take over
All
Barn.
right, that'd be great.
Okay. Nothing from Barn for me either. Right. Well, maybe Eric does.
So they need a vote for approval of the, who is Barn
You did that.
coming up?
Okay, so Cabot will now take over Barn. Eric will keep the other three. Steve?
No request for any financial, but we did have an e-vote for change of chairman on the organic garden.
Yes, we need to do that. And you already voted.
There
that,
serves your reminder.
though. There we go.
Yes, we voted that one too. Well, master of e-vote.
You voted Marge Geyer and
I don't remember that one.
No, I don't believe we did, because you
Oh,
sent their charter, there was a review of changing the charter
that's what it was.
with more discussion. I don't think it was ever.
That's correct.
so we need a motion then.
To table for that discussion.
No, just to make the new chairs. Greg Patassin is stepping down as chair of the organic.
I thought we had to do a review of that, you said. Okay, I will make the motion to accept the resignation first of Greg Patassi.
I'll second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Then a motion for co-chairs. And the illustrious president will help me with their names because I didn't write them down.
Marge Geyer and Pat.
Yes.
Pat Payne.
Pat
March-
Payne.
March,
Yep.
March Geyer.
yes.
So Eric's making a motion to, as co-chairs, have Marge Geyer and Pat Payne serve as co-chairs of Organic Garden. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Second by Linda
We'll get
Lonsinger. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The third item, I don't know if it needs voted on, was they wanted to amend their charter to change from chair, just a single chair, to co-chairs, just a different check of a box.
I don't think we need to vote on that one. That's up to the
That's
committee
just
to
a-
do. Yeah,
okay.
they can just decide that.
Those were the three items on the request.
Okay. Good. Good.
No funds at all. But aside from that, Lakes Committee, reminder that October 22nd is the date for the pontoons removal. There is a need for more volunteers. We expect to have more activity and more boats coming out. The other thing is that I gotta read my own shorthand here. The Lakes Committee, and I'll kind of defer a little bit on that, the note about the Lakes Enhancement Committee on that, simply because I know that Sue Pyle and Bob were meeting today, Bob Sorrell. So we'll see what they come up with. But the key thing there is that they review the plans that they already got. And it's just a reminder here. I gave a little presentation on all of this at Sue's urging of I don't know, 3-4 months ago, the previous board, but it's important to remember that we already have one plan in place. Or not a plan so much as we have an engineering study. It's not just a plan, it's an engineering study that we did pay for. So we spent club money on it, and so that's still kind of job one. And that's got sort of taken a back seat in the midst of a number of things, not the least of which was the weather from hell. And so when that happened, another code blew up. And so we have some other folks who are concerned about their area too, and rightfully so. That's not an issue, but the bottom line is we've got to make sure that we kind of stay on track with things that have already been dealt with and deal with those first and resolve those one way or the other to people's satisfaction. So there's just all of that going on. But the Lakes Committee, Enhancement Committee, for those of you who aren't aware, I believe Marty came up originally in, and I wasn't even on the board then. I think it came up in a management committee meetings. At the genesis of that actually came up in management committee meetings that I was listening to. Yeah, so it's got that history and it's gone in some different directions, but most importantly, it's gone through a lot of different people on both sides and so forth. So that's why this is just a part of the discussions now at this point. As for food services, the Food Services Committee expects to make a request for an opportunity to make at least a short presentation to the board next month, perhaps. on a remodeling thing. I know that's more money too, but again, that was something we've been talking about. So it's not a surprise. It's something that the committee has been working on. So they've been talking about it. As part of that, we approved that new big screen TV, 85 inches, I think it is, to put over the bar area back there. And so they'll be hanging that. I think they're going to be hanging that. Well, they'll be ordering them. They have to order it first. And I think they, as I understand it, they are hanging some stuff this weekend, historical stuff, the pictures and stuff that we approved, doing some paint for some framing and so forth. Pretty neat stuff. So that's all we have.
Okay, thanks. All right.
Okay, I got 2 e-votes I need to request for the airport committee. They have some dates coming up. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following dates for the airport committee. June 24th for the Dam Jam, July 15th for the grilling competition, August 19th for the hot air balloon that was successful last few weeks ago. And lastly, September 8th and 9th for the 5th annual Fly-In Festival.
You're making a motion for all 4 of those.
Yes,
All
I've
right,
done them individually, but I think this is quicker.
Yeah. June 24th, Dam Jam. July 15th was the grilling, August 8th.
19th.
August
19th
19th.
August 19th.
was hot air balloon, and September 8th and 9th for the fly-in. So Eric is making that motion. We have a second.
Dam Jam was 24th or 25th?
24th.
I'll second.
Seconded by Chaz Cross. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion's carried.
Okay, for activities for youth. Ken Witt's going to come up and talk to us during the open session, but he is asking for some books out of committee funds to be reimbursed at a cost of $247.51, as well as $51.79 for a hospitality function to help grow the activities for youth committee. Let's say that. Okay. All right. So those totals again were 247.51 and 51.79 for reimbursement for, yes.
So Eric's making that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
By Cabot Ray. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, cool.
I've got one question. The range, who are the current chairs and do we have replacements or, because I know one individual's leaving, you're now on the board.
He's
Does
the
anything
chair.
change? Okay.
We are co-chairs.
Okay.
Well, why don't you give it a turn?
And so who are the co-chairs?
Currently Jim Hiles and myself.
Okay, I thought Jim was leaving.
Thought you was
Was leaving, is leaving. hasn't
moving,
left.
But
Hasn't
hasn't
left.
but hasn't left.
Correct.
I've still got you on the list as the chair. I can add that back in, but I just want the,
Whatever makes you happy.
no, this will be the final committee list that I will send to Ginger and Penny. It's like version
There has not
19.
been a permanent date of
Okay.
their.
Okay,
meeting.
okay,
It could be in a week, it could be in a month,
okay,
it could be tomorrow. I'm not aware of that time.
okay. All right, open forum.
I have Ken Witt, like to come up. You're on, Ken.
Ken Witt, F7 Court. Kathy and I have been here for 3.5 wonderful years. I just want to thank you for trusting me with this task of exploring what the interests and commitments to a recreated youth activities committee are all about. I have some papers that I'll give Linda and she can pass them out if she chooses. But one of them is simply the page that was in the Facebook page a couple weeks ago. telling everybody in the community that we're gathering insights, ideas, and interests and commitments. And that will be repeated in the Echo in just a couple of weeks. And then as you'll find on the other papers that I'm going to give you, I've got a whole bunch of notes of what we've been doing to try to discover what the community is interested in and committed to. And I have to tell you that in that role of exploring, until this very day, I was about 50% sure that we would arrive at a place where there were both interests and commitments. But I'm up to about 95 today, because today I found 3 people who want to actually join the committee. And I don't think I'm going to have any trouble pulling it together. But let me just, as my final thing in this little report, say that we're imagining a much expanded purpose and level of interest and involvement and commitment than we've had in the past. The committee's going to take on new purpose and involve a lot more people across the community. What we're thinking now, and it's outlined in the other papers I'll give you if you choose to pass them out to everybody. The current draft thought is that there'll be a committee of 4 or 5 people. And each of those people will not be the same people that are running programs. They'll be like captains of a ship. And then there'll be crews from throughout the community. And anybody who wants to do a program for children, youth, and families can propose that to us. And then the committee will coordinate, finance, and problem solve, and conflict resolve, and organize and support crews of people that want to do an event like the Santa Claus breakfast, or we're also looking much more into the area of learning experiences for children, youth, and families, like learning about the natural environment we live in the hills. And we've got lots of people that are really interested in doing exactly that, which is one of the things I've been learning as I've gone through. So we will be and then the paperwork I'll give you also has, for the first time, I think this is going to work. We have a tentative schedule of when the committee will be fully functional. And that is that a couple weeks after the Echo comes out in October, people have had a chance to send in any input they want. We'll convene one in-person gathering and a Zoom gathering, and collect anything more, and then pull all that together and organize. And by January, your January meeting, we'll have a new charter proposal. It will include probably a new name, something like Children, Youth, and Families Enrichment Committee. And we'll have all the things that are in the committee guidelines. All those questions will be answered, and you'll have that proposal, and we'll begin functioning fully in January.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you. Thank
I'll
you
get
very
those
much.
papers
Yeah.
started. Yeah.
Yes,
thanks
thanks
for
for
your
your enthusiasm. It's
Yeah.
nice to see this.
Yeah, I got some great people who are just waiting to get involved. And that part's been really exciting. Some that care about the children, some youth, some with the family. It's really interesting.
Good, good
And
work.
really good people. Most of them you already know, and they're already involved in various ways. And they represent the breadth and diversity of our community too.
You've been
And
working hard on this.
Eric's been really good, and so have you, Linda, in helping me to learn what I needed to learn. So thanks a lot to everybody.
Thank
you,
Ken. Thanks. Great job. That was it. Okay. Moving on to unfinished business. This is mostly going to be updates, frankly, I think. Just to update the board, there had been a request we've been talking about for the track meet,
Yes.
and they withdrew that, right, Chaz?
Yeah, unfortunately, they had to withdraw it because it was something new to us, so it wasn't like we had a template to work from to try to figure out whether or not we could get it approved,
Yeah.
both legally and everything. And they had to pull together transponders for the runners because it was a cross-country meet and it had to be coordinated, and we just simply ran out of time. maybe if it were to ever happen again, we'd learn things from this, but it just ran out of time.
Okay. All right, thank you. We also had, we had a request that we had discussed before for a dog fence on lot 331, and the member has withdrawn that. So we don't have to do anything with that. We've already talked about the easement waiver, the Freeland on Navajo. Doug, I think you said lake enhancement. You'd rather postpone that and talk
Yeah,
about
just-
later after Sue and Bob had met. Technology update. We are just getting started on this, and Andy can help with this, and maybe Dave as well. They're just now pulling some of the information from our website, putting it into what will be a new website platform for members. They've pulled over a lot of our documents and things, so people ultimately will be able to go there instead of going to our very static website where they can find forms, documents, events happening, etc. That's kind of where we're starting. They're also pulling some member data from our database and moving member names into the new system. We met Cookie Moxstrom has been super helpful in getting us going on this today. We met with the office staff to talk about, basically say, look, we're going to take this slow. We're going to go at our pace, not condo controls pace. So we're going to wait until we make sure that people in the office and security and in maintenance know what they're doing. We're going to test things long before we go live on this. And again, I told you before, it's going to be a very phased approach. Annie Kerrigan will still be heavily involved in spearheading this. Anything else, Andy?
We do have some milestone dates that we're trying to keep in regards to the onboarding process, like the September 27th training for our employees, at least the office employees. Those that are the administrators. And really, there's the migration of the website. So we're working that process. And to answer your question, Chas, about the access database, we're talking with the person who was in charge of that. Well, not in charge of it, but
Created it,
yeah,
kind of.
created our database. Andy's been in contact with her.
He's actually out of Minneapolis, the person that does our access database.
And I know we were high on her when we pulled her into the mix way back when.
So that process is a little bit slower than we anticipated. I think we're trying to go at a pace that's slower than condo control. Condo control has kind of got their onboarding, and they've been doing this for a while. But we're a very unique community. So and then we have a soft launch. Soft launch meeting. We're phase one of website, maybe package handling, maybe visitor registration. We're not going much beyond that.
So Marty, if you had to give a timeline for when we're going to migrate the access database up into the new package, would you say a year?
Definitely well within a year, I would think.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see, once we get things converted over and everybody's comfortable, at that point, there's no reason to maintain it, right? Because everything is gonna already be backed up, and we're gonna have sufficient things there. We're not gonna need it.
Okay, water level testing program, which we had talked about, and Linda Wansinger kind of started. You want to make a comment, or we're going to put that not on hold, but it's not happening this week at this point.
I guess I just want to say, I hope that it does happen. The hold, as I understand it, is maintenance is a little overwhelmed right now, so we'll pick that up later and keep it on the books.
Yeah, and I had a discussion with Linda about it too. It's still important, most definitely, but I had to kind of push it back a little bit, just for our maintenance schedule, and paving, and RFID, and the cleaning, and so forth. So, yeah, it's still important. But
it on here just as unfinished so
Okay.
that we don't lose sight of it. Good. And Chaz, you already talked about basketball revitalization. Now,
Just real quick, this is something that's been on our radar for a little over a year, probably a little under a year. We took donations for it last year. We pulled in, I think, $1,475 initially. I struggled to get to it with everything else I had on my plate. So once we got past that juncture here in August, I wanted to open it back up, or we wanted to open it back up. The paving took place at the same time that the paving was taking place here in the hills. We thought we had a couple days to prepare for it, and it turns out we didn't. So it happened almost overnight. At that time, we went ahead and used the donations that we had pulled in last year. Incidentally, the basketball court was never owned by any particular committee. I had Penny research it for me prior to putting it up under health and wellness last year. And we went back through 21 years worth of information to try to figure out if anybody owned the basketball court, and nobody did. That's why we elected to park it under health and wellness. And we also had to have a place to park the donations because we learned from when Tiffany redid the beach that we needed to do that. That being said, then we set about the business of ordering the backboards, the rims, the posts, and such. They are here. They were delivered last Friday. They've been uncrated. We, with the help of Chauncey Stewart, have made provisions or made the holes for them. Maintenance, hats off to them, because very quickly when we learned we were going to have to pay tomorrow, they got in a couple Fridays ago and pulled both of the existing. One quick thing, we did have some people that got on it a couple weekends ago. It wasn't the end of the world. We merely tried to communicate through the Facebook page that if we could stay off of it until we're done, it might make it a little easier for us to get the project complete, because we wouldn't have to power wash it before we striped it. So no harm, no foul there. We are moving quickly. We would hope to have the baskets up and everything here within the week, I would think. And then we could move forward. As Cabot said a little while ago, just within the last 10 days, we have brought in another $7,600 worth of donations, private donations. So the club only had to come out of pocket with capital to complete the paving. We used the first round of donations for the paving. And we've got money to work with now. It's not going to cost the club anything. We hope to have some lighting up there so that in the event that it starts to get dark or dusk, that we could turn on some lights. Those are future enhancements. And last but not least, I'm going to get rid of that humongous metal fire pit down there where everybody throws their pallets and trash and things. And we're going to take part of the funds. We're going to build a new fire pit. And we're going to make it nice down there, because that whole area right inside the front gate looks like hell, and we're going to change it. So
Very cool.
yeah, so that's and we've got some commitments to do the fire pit as well, with some possible donations for both labor and materials.
great.
So
Very cool.
more to follow.
All right, thank you. That's great. That's great. Okay, new business topics. We already did some of these. So we talked about the easement waiver for 705 and 706, the waiver for 1762, 1763. Just a couple of announcements. The fall cleanup dates where you can take your stuff that you don't want to put in the dumpsters and recycle, that you want to get rid of, are going to be October 5th to the 12th. So the maintenance will have the usual, what do you call those things? Dumpsters down front, so you can take your stuff down there. we're gonna have a board and management orientation session, which most boards do, with our club attorney, October 25th at 7 o'clock. Now, boards have more than just these meetings. We have some fiduciary responsibilities legally. So we're gonna get an orientation from our attorney about what's involved in that. And now, if you'd like to take a commercial break, Cabot Ray is gonna have to read a whole bunch of stuff that we have to read into the minutes to change the signatory powers. So Cabot, you can do like that guy on TV.
Yeah, at the very end, when they have to cram a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
into 3
Yeah,
seconds,
that's it.
I can't, but I will
You
try
can
to do
try.
it quickly. Okay, we're gonna need to go through each one of these. This is regarding banks that we do business with and those who are authorized to sign, have their name there. So the following named people are authorized signers and may conduct banking business on behalf of the Hideaway Hills Club with Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan in regard to Hideaway Hills Club bank accounts. Linda Hodge, J. Cabot Ray, Andrew Freeman, Penny Johnson, Christina Hall. All previous resolutions are hereby null and void. So what I need is, I need to pass this. I'd like to propose that we pass this recommendation of these names for the Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan.
Second.
Second by Eric Lapp. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Be it hereby resolved that effective immediately, the following named persons are authorized signers and may conduct banking business on behalf of Hideaway Hills Club with Merchants National Bank regarding Hideaway Hills Club bank accounts and all certificates of deposit. Andrew Freeman, General Manager, Penny Johnson, Assistant General Manager, Christina Hall, Administrative Assistant, Linda Hodge, President of the Board of Trustees, J. Cabot Ray, Treasurer of the Board of Trustees. I'd like to make a motion that we accept these names in association with the Merchants National Bank.
Second.
Second.
I'm gonna give that to Steve because he didn't get one yet. Second by Steve Kundo. Discussion. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Be it hereby resolved that effective immediately, the following named people are authorized signers and may conduct banking business on behalf of the Hideaway Hills Club with Union Savings Bank regarding Hideaway Hills Club bank accounts. All accounts, here are the names. They may be a shock to you. Linda Hodge, President of the Board of Trustees. J. Cabot Ray, Treasurer of the Board of Trustees. Andrew Freeman, General Manager. Penny Johnson, Assistant General Manager. Christina Hall, Administrative Assistant. All previous resolutions hereby null and void. I'd like to make a motion that we accept these names in relation with the Union Savings Bank.
Second. Second. Linda Lunziger, second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. Be it hereby resolved that effective immediately, the following named persons are authorized signers and may conduct banking business on behalf of the Hideaway Hills Club with the Vinton County National Bank regarding Hideaway Hills Club Board of Trustees bank account. This actually has a number 3175502. Linda Hodge, President of the Board of Trustees, J. Cabot Ray, Treasurer of the Board of Trustees, and Nancy McCoy, Secretary of the Board of Trustees. Just those three on this one. All previous resolutions are hereby null and void. I make a motion that these names be accepted for business with Benton County National Bank.
Second. Second by Chaz. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I think there's one more, isn't there? Is that
I'm
it?
looking for it. Just did Vinton.
I think there are
There's
two
Vinton.
Vintons, if I remember from last.
There's
year.
2 Vintons.
I think there are 2 Vintons.
Oh, okay. I just moved through because I kept saying Vinton. Okay. Well, there's that. Okay, yes.
Different account numbers.
Good call there, Perez.
Because I had to read that last year.
Okay, be it hereby resolved that effective immediately, the following named persons are authorized signers and may conduct banking business on behalf of the Hideaway Hills Club with Vinton County National Bank regarding Hideaway Hills Club bank accounts numbers 164, take this down, 523, 164 435, 141 495, 30293, 800 316820. And all certificates of deposit until such a time that this resolution would be replaced or revoked. The names here: Andrew Freeman, General Manager; Penny Johnson, Assistant General Manager; Christina Hall, Administrative Assistant; Linda Hodge, President of the Board of Trustees; J. Cabot Ray, Treasurer of the Board of Trustees. All previous resolutions hereby null and void. I make a motion that we accept these names in association with business with these accounts at Benton County National Bank.
Second,
Second.
second by Nancy. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right.
And what was that number?
Yeah.
Which one did you want? The third one in there?
I
or-
don't think that fits on one of those deposit slips. Okay, that's all I had for business. And now we're back and fresh and
Back
ready
and ready to
to read
go.
a gazillion e-votes.
Water for that. Okay, there's a file in your packet, I believe. Still working on some formatting issues, but there were a few here. We'll start at the bottom, starting on August 16th. Reimbursement $49.41 and $40.25 to Cindy Lynch for new member committee beach event. 8 yes, 0 nays. August 17th, social committee, pay $153.07 to Iron Pony for the August concert with John Bryan and the Kentucky Border Band. 8 yes, 0 no's. August 18th, reimbursement for David Rowe, $72.71 for pickleball purchases. 7 yes, 0 no's. August 23rd, reimburse $84 to Drake Reese for spraying the organic garden. 6 yes, 0 no's. 24th of August, approval for Range Committee to hold their annual Veterans Day shoot and open house on November 12th and 13th, 2022. 7 yes, 0 no's, 1 abstention. August 24th, approval of the use of the Great Room by the Range Committee on October 8th, 2022, from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 yes, 0 no's, 1 abstention. August 24th, approval to name Ken Witt as interim chairman of the Activities for Youth Committee. 8 yes, 0 no's. August 24th, Golf Committee request from Eric Boysko to spend $7,500 from the Golf Committee funds to McKee Paving for additional upgrades to the cart path. 7 yes, 0 no's. August 26th, reimburse Steve Cundiff $215.75 for range expenses. 5 yes, 0 no's, 1 abstention. August 26th, ORV Committee reimbursement to Joe Bittler, $612.99 for regrading the ORV track. 6 yes, 0 no's. August 27th, approve October 22nd for Lakes Committee pontoon removal. 8 yes, 0 no's. August 31st, approve Sherry Nutter and Mary Ellen Swackhammer as committee chairs for new member committee. 6 yes, 0 no's. August 31st, approval of no more than $550 from committee funds for old HAH photos to be reproduced and some enlarged for placement in the lodge. 8 yes, 0 no's. New member committee requests that the new member fall bonfire event be held Friday, October 14th, 2022 at the Shelter House from 6:30 to 9:30. 7 yes, 0 no's. September 2nd, Health and Wellness approved $2,624 payment to Bricks R Us for bricks purchased by members. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 2nd, Health and Wellness approved reimbursement for $40.61 to Michelle Winship for fitness center supplies. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 2nd, Health and Wellness approved reimbursement of $768.57 to Joe Williams for 3 fans for the fitness center. 8 yes, 0 no. September 3rd, approved moving concert in the Cove to the amphitheater in case of rain. Nothing on the HH calendar at the amphitheater that date. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 4th, approve up to $800 for Elmer and his crew to use cold patch filler for the cart bath. This should be about 2 tons as requested. They will be used on other areas of the cart path as well. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 7th, approve $125 reimbursement to Linda Hodge from the transfer fund for refreshments for volunteers at the annual meeting. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 7th, approval to pay the overage amount of $3,723.14 to McKee Paving and Sealing for the Golf Committee account, from the Golf Committee account for improvements to the golf course cart paths. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 8th, approve Marty Bendokas as chair of the management committee. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 8th, approve Julie Evans as vice chair of the management committee. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 8th, approve John Cook to the management committee. 5 yes, 3 no's. September 8th, approve Jeff Barron to management committee. 3 yes, 5 no's. September 8th, approve Bob Sorrell to management committee. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 9th, approval to reimburse Jim Lloyd $128.08 for walkie-talkies from the airport committee funds. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 10th, e-vote for Boo at the Barn on 10/22 from 5 to 7 p.m. fundraising activity and up to $750 of committee funds for purchase of food and decorating. 7 yes, 0 no's. September 12th, approval of $235.37 reimbursement of expenses for the Calcutta tournament. $194.35 to Sherry Panacea, $41.02 to Cookie Mockenstern. 6 yes, 0 no's, 1 abstention. August 15th, food services. Approval for purchase of big screen TV to be mounted above the brewery windows at the lodge from committee funds not to exceed $2,500. 8 yes, 0 no's. September 19th, approve reimbursement for Rich Radowski in the amount of $130.38 for purchase of food supplies from GFS for the Good Works dinner from the Compassion Committee, a subcommittee of the chapel. 8 yes, 0 no's.
All of this from the guy that 30 days ago did not know that was his job.
It was not in the job
It was
description.
not.
Intentionally kept.
You got a job description. Okay, I think you need to make a motion to approve the e-votes.
I make a motion to approve the e-votes, confirm the e-votes.
I can second that. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Nancy, as new
Okay.
members.
New members, we have Gerald and Suzanne Lima, lots 593. Eric Lewis and Jill Marie Swan, lot 119. Corbin and Jennifer Shaw, lot 110. Or excuse me, 1010, 1011, 1012, and 1013. We have Donald Stanco and Lori Blue, excuse me, lots 1014. That's a lot. And then we have a house at 1098, 1099, 1097, and 1100. Bowen Family Revocable Trust. We have Timothy and Christine Bowen as trustees, lot 1313. We have Witt Living Trust, David and Susan Witt, trustees, lot 1023, and a half lot on 1024. Michael and Julie Carter, lots 779 and 780. Thomas Bowles and Christine Michael, lot 326. And Thomas Feldhausen and Patricia Gold, lots 585 and 586. I have a motion to accept these new members.
Okay, motion by Nancy to accept the new members.
I'll second.
Abbott Ray, second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nancy, the names aren't always that easy, everybody.
That was a lot of new
There's a
members.
lot of new members.
Some of the names get pretty
Oh,
hairy.
some-
No,
yeah,
yeah, well, I'll
because we're all
apologize
around.
in advance right now.
All
And
right.
We have no club lots that were sold.
We can probably take that off now. There are no more club
Yeah.
lots, so we can.
And I do
Good.
have one other thing to add regarding new members and the monthly assessment fee. It seems like there's been a little bit of confusion on that in the process. So just for clarification, for some of the new members, I did talk to Penny yesterday in the office in regards to this. Some have been under the understanding that the new member fee that they pay at closing is part of their monthly assessment. It's all wrapped up into that. That is not the case. We do have, as you know, all have a monthly assessment fee. That form is not on the Hideaway Hill site, and the reason it is not is because if you want to have your automatic withdrawal each month for your monthly assessment, which is the ACH form, you need to see Penny at the office. Under her guidance, she said, please come and see me. They need to get this form from me, have it signed, and also bring in a voided check. That way, she knows everything is done and comfortable. That's why it's not on the Hideaway Health site. So any questions, call Penny at the office, or if you want to have the automatic withdrawal for your monthly assessment and not have to write a check every month, see Penny, get this ACH form from her, and then it's automatically withdrawn, and it's a super easy way to do it.
That's good info. I can see how people would think that the big check, the right
Yeah.
for membership would include maybe 1 month of assessment,
Yeah,
but it
so
does
they
not.
just need to contact the office. There is also on the form that when, because they do with the cost of living increases every year, when the assessments do go up, there is a form or a checkbox on the form that you can check that will automatically increase your payment to coincide with what the new monthly assessment would be, so that you don't have to refill the form out every year.
Okay,
So
good.
just information for some of the new members to kind of clear up any confusion that they may have had.
Thank you, Nancy.
You can have the deduction on either the 10th or the 20th every month, I think. You have your
Okay.
choice. You have your choice.
Okay.
I
All
need
good.
a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second by discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned to executive session.
Couple hours early.
Nice job, Dave. Got his cop right up.
Yeah.
You got us right up to, I mean, I just